This is the Amazing Teacher Podcast with Sam Rangel, episode number 2.
Welcome to the Amazing Teacher Podcast, where we sit down with amazing teachers and pick their brains for tips, strategies, and ideas that you can take into your classrooms and be amazing. Now, here's your host, Sam Rangel.
Welcome, amazing teachers, to the second episode of the Amazing Teacher Podcast. This is Sam from successintheclassroom.com, and today I'm excited about my interview with Nick Provenzano. He is we know him as the Nerdy Teacher. He has a blog over at thenerdyteacher.com, and that's where I found him. And he's doing some really awesome things over there. He's really leading the way with technology and education. Nick is also an ambassador for the Evernote app in education, and like I've said before, this is one of those apps that I'm still learning how to use. I'm finding all the benefits that it offers to teachers, and Nick is like an expert. So he shares some of his tips on using Evernote in the class. Also, listen for the conversation we have about one of the videos that I saw on his blog called Being You. I think that's great advice for new teachers, and I think you're going to have a lot to learn from that conversation. So, without further ado, let's get right into the interview with Nick Provenzano, the Nerdy Teacher. Ready? Here we go. Today, I'm so happy to have Nick Provenzano from the Nerdy Teacher on the podcast. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Did I say your last name okay?
Yeah, Provenzano's perfect.
All right, thanks. I want to thank you again for taking time out of your schedule to sit down with me and let me pick your brain. I'm really looking forward to this interview.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about education, technology, anything that you want. I'm excited to get started.
Awesome. Well, before we begin, Nick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get into teaching and blogging, and what are you up to now? And tell me again, what is the story behind the name The Nerdy Teacher?
Yeah, let's start off. I'm a high school English teacher. I've been teaching for about 12 years now. I teach primarily grades 9 and 10. I am a project-based teacher, so I love to get my kids involved in big projects where they can really share the exciting, creative things that they want to do with the topics at hand. And I started blogging about 3.5 years ago, and I needed a name for my blog, and the Nerdy Teacher seemed pretty apt for who I am and what I love, movies, comics, things of that nature, video games. So it seemed perfect for me, and so a little blog and a Twitter account from 3.5 years ago has turned into kind of a crazy whirlwind ride where I've ended up as being honored as the ISTE Teacher of the Year, my state association's Teacher of the Year, Evernote Education Ambassador, and so many just great things. And better yet, I've had the ability to connect with amazing educators all over the world, which is the thing that I'm most proud of.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I looked up your blog, and I was really impressed with what you're doing. In fact, I was going through your blog just over the weekend, and I noticed that you had some students. You have students blogging about the project. What was that about?
Yeah, I've implemented 20 Time or Genius Hour in my class this year with 3 of my classes, where students are given 1 day of the week to work on a passion project, something that they've really been excited to do, and they'll spend the school year working on it. And as a part of this 20 Time, they write a blog post once a week to kind of update what their progress has been and what they've been working on. And as a part of that, I make sure to share out their blogs to the world around them so that they can have people come in and comment and give them an authentic audience to what it is that they're doing in the classroom. And they get so excited when they get comments and connections and things like that. They come to school so excited because they like having an audience. The kids might think they might not, but when you have someone reading your blog and commenting on it, it all of a sudden gives you this extra validity that it just wasn't there before when their audience was traditionally just their teacher.
Right. I went through and I threw a couple comments on some of your kids'
Thank you.
blog posts, and that was fun. In fact, there was one girl, I think her name was Olivia. She's doing a 5K
Yes,
run.
yes. She's trying.
And
okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I put down there on her comment that I put together a 5K a couple years ago at my school, and it was a lot of work. I read that she was getting a little discouraged because she was having a hard time getting sponsors. So I threw a comment in there, hoping to encourage her. Hopefully that she'll be able to follow through, because that is a great feeling when you can go through and make such a big difference in an event that you create.
Absolutely.
Well, how about this? Audience, if you're listening, do me a favor. Go over to thenerdyteacher.com and, if you can, throw a comment on some of these kids' blog posts. Let them hear what you think about their projects, and encourage them to keep going. I'm sure they would appreciate any help, any good word you can offer them.
I thank you. That's awesome.
That'd be cool.
It would be great. Any support these kids can get would be fabulous.
Like you said, they enjoy getting what's the word, approved or recognized.
Yeah, recognized and validated their work. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about Evernote. Now, Evernote is something that I am just learning, and every day it seems like I'm coming up with some other new feature that is just I'm able to use in my job. You said an Evernote Ambassador?
Yeah, I'm the education ambassador. Evernote reached out to me and really a lot of people in specific areas that are really using Evernote in different or exciting ways. And the way that I've used Evernote as a teacher to organize my lesson plans, to share notes, and take information in conferences and connect with others was really a different way that Evernote has seen in case usage. So I kind of like a education spokesperson for them. When people are talking about Evernote, I'm there to help out and offer ideas and suggestions on how I use it. It's been great. Evernote's been really supportive of education in the different ways that they are trying to connect educators and students to use what's really great tool to share information and remember everything.
Well, can you tell us some way that teachers can take advantage of this application in their classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best way and easiest way for a teacher really to embrace Evernote is to use it for lesson planning. The traditional lesson planner is that nice little notebook that has little squares and the dates, and we fill it in. And the problem is, if you leave that at school or you leave it at home, you are quite possibly lost for the day or the night. Where with Evernote, since it's a cloud-based app, you can work on your computer, you can work on your phone, you can work on your tablet, and all that information is stored in the cloud. So you can access your lesson plans wherever you are, whenever you want, as long as there's an internet connection. And that's something that's really great to have as a teacher, because now it allows me to lesson plan when I have a good idea, not when I have a piece of paper right in front of me. And that's, I think, the best way that I've utilized Evernote for me.
Very cool. Sounds like a commercial for Evernote, but it really isn't. It's a free app, right? And just another great tool that new teachers can use to be successful in their classroom. So, again, I'm still learning Evernote. I just found out how to email, send to forward emails to my Evernote on my phone, like reminders, and that has saved me a lot of time.
Yep, absolutely. That's what's been so great.
Well, the purpose of this podcast, Nick, is to sit down with amazing teachers like yourself, pick their brains for tips, strategies, practices, and ideas that new teachers can take into the classroom and be amazing. So I know in your experience you've run across many amazing teachers like yourself. Can you tell us what are some qualities that are common among these amazing teachers?
I would probably say the passion for what we do. I think amazing teachers are passionate about teaching. They love being with kids. They love working with them. They love connecting with them and making a difference in their lives. And whether or not you see that difference right away, and usually as teachers we do not. The impact that we make is usually not seen until a decade later sometimes. I mean, if we're lucky enough for one kid to come back and say thanks. But we don't do it for that. We do it because we love what we do. And it takes a commitment that few people can understand unless they themselves have been influenced or impacted by a teacher special to them, which I think many of us have, which is probably one of the reasons why we do what we do. We want to continue to give back. So I think that passion to be with students to make a difference is really the most important thing that connects all amazing teachers out there. I think amazing teachers listen to their students. I think it's so easy for us to talk and teach, but I think it's equally important for us to listen to what the kids are trying to tell us, so that we can use that to become better at what we do. And I think listening is very, very key for an amazing teacher.
Very true. Very true. I wonder sometimes if teachers, I don't know, give up the opportunity to make an impact because they don't have time for kids. They don't have time to sit down and just, listen to their funny stories or their, what we think might be trivial issues that they're having, and we miss out. We miss out on having an impact on a kid because we think, oh, that's just silly what they're talking about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that I am always happy when I get to just talk to my kids and just listen to them, listen to what their serious, problems are for their age, and the things that are going on in their lives, and the fun, happy moments that they're going to cherish 10, 15, 20 years from now. To share in those experiences, to guide them through the trials and tribulations that they're going to face. And sometimes just listening to them is the most important thing you can do as a teacher, because no one else is there listening, and you might be the only one. I think that is something very powerful that I think some teachers miss out on. Sometimes you just need to listen to them, and they'll tell you everything that you need to know, not just about them, but really students in general.
Very true. I was going through your blog, and I ran across a video that you had called "Being You," and I thought I listened to it, and I thought this is exactly what new teachers and soon-to-be teachers need to hear. Can you share what you were talking about on that video?
Yeah, I remember early in my career someone had said that you need to be tough on your students right away, and then you can lay off them as you move forward, because trying to do it the other way, being nice and then we're coming down hard on them, doesn't work, and the kids won't respect you. It was just something crazy, and you're a new teacher and you listen to it and you're scared because you don't know what the heck you're doing. But what I found, which tends to be true, is that the more you are just yourself, the better your kids will respond to you. There's kids, especially at the high school level, have a wonderful BS detector. They know when you are being yourself and when you're not. And when you can just be yourself, the kids will respect that. They'll respond to that. And that type of respect is not something that you can buy or trick your way into. And so I just really wanted to urge people to just be themselves, be proud of who they are. We tell that to our students. There's no reason why we shouldn't act that way in our classroom as well. So that was really kind of the point of that video I put together.
You know the saying that they tell new teachers, don't smile until Christmas.
Yes.
I heard that, and I've said that to some of my student teachers that I had early on in my career, and I realize now what a terrible way to start the year.
Yep.
Kids don't get to know the real you until Christmas. What's up with that? And they say you can ease up. It's easier to ease up later than to get hard, later.
Exactly, and it sounds like great advice because you're a new teacher, you don't know anything, but it's really the worst advice out there, hands down. So I'm just trusting the people that they really need to embrace who they really are and make a difference that way.
Yeah, and like I said, I thought that that was awesome advice on that video. So I wanted to make sure that you brought it up again in the podcast. And talking about new teachers, many new teachers, even some veteran teachers, struggle with classroom management. And like I've always said, this is the one area where new teachers seem to struggle the most. What would you say are some pieces of advice that you would give a new teacher who may be struggling with that tough class?
What I would have to say is that, some of the things I kind of said, listen to your kids. The kids tend not to act out just to act out. The kids are generally not mean or bad kids. It's not how they're wired to start. So if kids are disruptive, they're trying to send you a message. It may be that your approach isn't working. It might be that the lesson planning that you have set up isn't really the best approach to reach those students. There's definitely an element where kids will push buttons and they will try to get up to the line, and absolutely you'll have to make sure that those boundaries are clearly set to the students. But I guess, again, the thing I'll get back to is listening to students, being honest with who you are to them, and those type of things I have found in my classes, and I've had honors to remedial level, and everything in between. I found most effective is just being honest with students, listening to your students, and having them be a part of the process of organizing the class, establishing the rules, so that they can have a sense of ownership of, the classroom and the class period throughout the day.
What some teachers might say is that you're giving up control of the class when you do that. How would you respond to that?
You need to give up a little bit of control. There are 30 of them and one of you. If you think that as a teacher you should have 100% of the control, you're out of your mind. The buck should ultimately stop with you as a teacher, absolutely, but there's 30 of them. They should have a little bit of a say of how class is going to run. The day-to-day operations, not every day what they're going to learn, how they're going to learn it, but there's 30 of them, 30 different people with different ideas of how things should be run. And it's important to listen and say, hey, let's see if we can solve this together. What do you guys think is a good way to approach this? Spend those first few days getting to know those kids, laying out how the class is going to run, and have them be a part of it. And that's a good way to get classroom management together, as well as moving forward with the class to have investment from the students.
Very true, very true. Without that, it becomes you against them. There's a wall that's created between you and the students, and you can see how problems can arise when there's that kind of wall between the teacher and the student. So I think what you're saying is getting them involved early is key to avoiding those kind of issues later on in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. The more buy-in you can have from students and parents is key in the classroom, because again, you're with them for 9 out of 12 months. So the more buy-in that they feel, the more ownership they feel in the classroom, the more willing they will be to jump on board with your crazy lesson plan ideas and things of that nature. And that respect will be very valuable as you move into those dog days of the school year, where you really need them to trust you that you're taking them places.
Very true. And you'll find when one student wants to be the rebel, you'll have your own supporters in the classroom who will, defend you against that one rebel, because you've created those bonds early on.
100% correct. Absolutely. They will self-regulate quite easily.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. So, what if you're sitting down with a new teacher? What is one action that he can do or she can do that would place them on the road for to be an amazing teacher? What could they do tomorrow to be an amazing teacher?
Oh, what can they do tomorrow? I guess the first thing they could do tomorrow is just be open to other ideas. To be open to the possibility that the way that they're doing things can be good, but there are better ways potentially to be out, better ways to approach it later on. And I think that's what I learned, is that it's so easy to be stubborn, and this is how I'm doing it, this is what I want to do, this is what's going to make me good. It's when I started to listen to my colleagues around me and really accept that just because it's my way doesn't mean it's the best way. That made me a better teacher, and for that, it really helped my kids. So that's what I would say, is just be willing to listen to the people around you and take all of that in and try to be the best teacher you can be.
Very true. Very true. We've got to be able to convince those teachers who think, like you said, that their way is the best way to listen to other people and be open for change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's happening in your life now, Nick, that you're excited about? What's going on that maybe you want to share with the audience?
The big one right now is the 20 Time project that we touched on earlier. My kids are, I've got 3 classes, about 90 kids that are working on 90 different projects, and they're invested, they're excited, they're passionate, and I have an opportunity to, share that with everyone out there, because I think it's great outlet for my kids to creatively express and explore things that they love and are passionate about, and I have an opportunity to share that with the world, and I think that's awesome. And I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of right now and most excited about is that project and all 90 projects that go along with that. So I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of that the kids are doing, and I really look forward to seeing how it pans out at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I was very impressed with that, Nick. And like I said, audience, do us a favor and help those kids out, encourage them, go write a comment on their blogs and let them feel your love. A question for you, Nick. How do you grade something like that?
There are 2 aspects of it. Is that they do a blog once a week where they talk about their project, and the other aspect of it is that they will do a big presentation at the end of the year that'll be graded, which is not about completing their project, but about what they learned trying to complete their project. So those will be the 2 major things that they'll be graded on, is the blog once a week, and then the project presentation at the end of the year. Those are the 2 parts. So that's how it's assessed. But that's really in my opinion, the insignificant part of the entire process. It's what they're going to learn and walk away from having done this. That's really neat.
That's a great point you make, Nick, because I'm finding that amazing teachers don't focus too much on the grade. They focus on the journey towards the grade.
Exactly.
And the lessons that are being learned as they work on an assignment or a project. I think that's key. Amazing teachers, you're looking to take them on a journey.
Absolutely, yep.
And new teachers, there's your lesson for the day. Focus on the journey, not necessarily on the grade. Is there anything else you want to share with us, Nick, before we say goodbye?
No, not really. Just get out there and connect with as many teachers as you can. There's just thousands upon thousands of great, smart, wonderful educators out there, and if you're a veteran teacher, look to take those newbie teachers under your wings there and really guide them through the first few years of their career. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, and I think we were all there for. Someone's been there for us. I think it's great that we have an opportunity to be there for them, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for great people that stood by my side. A friend of mine, Jeff, was just the most important person in becoming the teacher I am today, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him taking the time to tell me when I was being an idiot, and tell me that I was on the right path when I was. So go out there and be a mentor, and if you are in need of a mentor, go looking. There are people out there willing to help you out.
Great advice, Nick. So if people want to say thank you for sharing all your amazing insights, where can they find you?
People can connect with me on Twitter at The Nerdy Teacher. You can go to my website, thenerdyteacher.com, and leave a comment on a post. Connect me to either of those two ways would be the best ways to reach out to me and get back to you as soon as I can.
Awesome. Well, Nick, it's been a pleasure getting to meet you. I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast, and thank you for all the information you shared with our audience.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to seeing all the other ones in the future that you put out there. I think it's a great thing you're doing.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Nick. That means a lot. So to the listeners, I know you received a lot of great information in this episode. Now it's up to you to take it back to your classroom and implement what you learned today. So until next time,
be amazing.
The Amazing Teacher Podcast is brought to you by SuccessInTheClassroom.com. Learn more about being an amazing teacher by visiting SuccessInTheClassroom.com or TheAmazingTeacher.com.